you, everybody, and welcome to the monthly October monthly meeting of the Culture, Tourism and Communications Committee. So welcome to everybody who's here. So the first thing is, are there any apologies for absence, Ian?
We've just been notified by Rhian Evans, Chair, and whilst he's not a councillor, Michael Eames did send his apologies.
Yes, thank you for that. Okay, so any declarations of interest from anybody? No? Brilliant.
No.
Okay, so number 3 is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting we had, which was held on the 27th of September. Would anybody like to propose and second that?
I'll propose.
I can't, I wasn't at the meeting.
I'm sure I was, so I'll propose it. We haven't.
I can't second it, can I? Don't think.
I don't see why not.
Okay. I was
Is
there.
that okay, Kerry, for Pip to second it?
Pip's co-opted, isn't he? So was Tim there?
No.
No.
Well, I'll second it myself then.
Okay, thank you.
There we are. Okay, so next thing, Ian, is an update on previous actions from that meeting.
Right. So there's 3 actions. The first one is Councillor O'Neill and Councillor Marshall, together with Claire, to prepare suggestions for live entertainment outside the Ostrom Centre, together with the proposed budget for October's meeting. Ideally, performances will start before Christmas 2023, but certain practicalities will need to be considered, including frequency of performances, their timings, the use of power and staff availability. In addition, the clerk's report on live entertainment to be considered.
Okay.
And that was action to Martin and yourself, Rob, with Claire to a lesser extent.
Okay, Richard wants to come in here, Rich.
Yeah, it's going to have to be belated, this is. I think I've got to declare an interest on this one, because being a very culturally aware person that I am, I'm in a sea shanty group, and they're one of the people that, when the group's apparently, they're going to sing there.
Yes, but you're not going to get paid for it. So
No,
it's just
any money that comes in, we'll have buckets out there, will go straight to the RNLI.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, I'll also declare an interest in case I'm asked or offered to do something before Christmas there. But that's it. Okay, well, Martin and myself did meet with Claire, and we talked about the possibility of this and actually starting that before Christmas. With the idea of the busking side of this, I mean, people will be putting out buckets, so that in itself won't cost the council anything, as long as the people, you know, we asked to do it are prepared to do it for that. In some cases, if we're booking professional musicians, then obviously we might have to look at a fee for people. Now, I've spoken to Paul today about Vehement and stuff like that, which we'll be coming on to when we come to the public part, the Christmas parties. But at the moment, there's about £1,000 from the festoon lighting, but because that we haven't done anything to it. If possible, it'd be nice to keep that there just in case of emergencies or in case our Christmas lights go over budget. There's also the floral decorations at £1,000 because that's been paid and it didn't come to as much as we'd put in. And this is something I'll need to ask Martin now. With the newsletter, because we're coming towards the end of the year and we're just putting one out now, I doubt we're likely to put out another one before the next financial year, are we?
Well, I wouldn't have thought so, but before I confirm on that, you know, I probably want to talk to Paul, but yes, there's probably a good observation to make.
Okay, I mean, Paul was under the impression, and what he said to me is, I wouldn't have thought you would put out another one.
Well, that's what I would, you know, agree with that. I wouldn't have thought that we'd put out another one, definitely. But, you know, just before I'm going to say we'd have to check on the budgets before we concretely allocate it to something else.
Absolutely. But yes, I mean, assuming as we don't, then there's also money in that pot as well that we can
Yeah.
use. I mean, before Christmas anyway, we'd be looking at maybe 2 or 3 before Christmas, and I'm sure some of the local choirs or local schools as well would be interested in taking part in something like that. So that's where we're at with it, and you know, for next year, obviously, we will put in some money into the budget for to cover these sort of performances if we've got to pay people. So that's where we are with that. So that's that action point, Ian.
You are mute.
Apologies. Will we have a further update for the November meeting then, Rob, with further details or?
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
what I would ask is that if you give, or the committee give myself and Martin and Claire the authority to book people rather than come back with suggestions, and just treat it like we know what we're doing, and we'll get some suitable entertainment before Christmas.
So I'll make a recommendation for full council, is that correct?
Well, we'll put that to the vote now. So if the rest of the committee are happy for us to do that, can you raise your hands?
Mhm.
There we are. Tim, are you against or for? There we are. Thanks, Tim.
And
Cheers.
sorry,
Okay.
Chair, if I could just be clear, is that with any financial, do you want a kitty for that of £2,000 or anything?
Oh gosh, we're not going to need anything like that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no.
You mentioned,
Hey,
you mentioned a couple of thousand just now, so I thought I just,
Don't start making offers like that, Ian.
no. I think what we could say is with money veered from the cultural budget,
okay.
with underspend on other areas. That's probably the best way to broach this. Then we don't have to go into contingency or ask other people.
Especially at first, it shouldn't cost much money. So.
No, I mean, there's only going to be a few we'll be able to organise before Christmas, so it'll just be you know, that, and hopefully the punters will feel generous and put in their £20 notes and things like that. Dream on. Okay. And I think there's more action points, aren't there, Ian?
There was, the next one was mine, and that was to write to all councillors and officers requesting that ideas on a Welsh event be forwarded to Councillor Evans. I forwarded that on the 28th of September, and that is now complete.
Right.
The next action is for Rhian, unfortunately, and then having received ideas from the MCC staff, prepare a proposal together with costings for this meeting today. And I haven't had an update from Rhian.
No.
I was expecting her to be here, to be honest.
No, I mean, I've spoken to Rhian about this, and I've also spoken to Elaine in the Ostream. Claire has put forward a proposal for I think it's the 29th of March, which is the day before the Thursday, the day before St. David's Day, where we do something after the schools finish and get the kids there singing, and then give them a hot dog and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now, that's a possibility we consider. I also spoke to Elaine, and there is a window on St. David's Day itself between 11:30 and 3:30. And my suggestion would be, I think marking St. David's Day on St. David's Day is a far nicer thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think we're more likely to get the kids to turn up to something if it's actually in school time than if it's outside of school time, where they've got to have teachers to bring them.
Yeah.
And, you know, teachers don't want to, they've got enough to do, you know, why should they work after their school hours, really? So what I'm going to put to the committee is, if we take that date of March the 1st, the Friday, and we do an extra coffee with friends for the old people, and we get maybe some cowling. I mean, we've got £750 in the budget for this event anyway. So if we did like a nice sort of luncheon for the people who come to the coffee with friends, we could maybe put on the school choir like Cloynderw, because they're the Welsh speaking school, and you know, they came down to us last year to sing, and maybe some other things, or even maybe show a film like How Green Is My Valley, or one of the old classic, or Only Two Can Play, or one of the ones set in South Wales, something like that. Oh, just had a message off Angela, sorry to interrupt. There was no meeting link. No apologies, just got back in. So, Mart, Ian, can you send the link, email the link to Angela, please?
She's
She's
here.
here. Hey,
She's here.
Hello all.
hello. I was just going to ask for the link to be sent to you.
Thank
Speak
you. On
the
my phone,
speak of the
first
devil
I
and it's
got
by
the,
magic.
Halloween disco with the kids, and basically I thought there's no link, and then I went on my iPad and there were 2 links on my iPad, so one of them worked and one of them didn't. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay. What we're talking about, Ange, is a St David's Day event. Claire has preliminarily penciled in the day before, and it would just be after the schools finish and getting the kids down there to sing and have a hot dog. But on the St David's Day itself, which is the Friday, I went to see Elaine yesterday, and we can have between 11:30 and 3:30. I thought it might be nice to do an extra coffee with friends, but do it with maybe a bowl of cowl and some Welsh food, and maybe even show a film. I think, you know, and get the youngsters down to sing and all that. But I just think, you know, the older people, and especially the people on their own, don't get as much events. You know, they don't want to go out at night, so it's only lunchtime in the light they'll do it. So that's what I'm talking about at the moment. So I'm going to bring Rich in because he's had his hand up.
Yeah, two things. You can always play Twin Town, but I'm not sure it'd be the best film for kids. On the schools, I noticed a few years ago I was at school, but what we used to do is we used to have the concert in the morning, then we used to knock off for the afternoon. Is that going to impact anything we do involving the school? Just curious.
I don't know, but I know that we don't have the afternoon off anymore. Welsh Government want to make St David's Day a national holiday, but you know, it was always a half-day holiday when we were in school.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's not a holiday at all. So we can only ask the schools. So that's what I would rather do to celebrate St David's Day, is something on the actual day itself where we can involve the older community and hopefully the children as well, you know, who might come down and sing and perform and stuff like that. So Ange, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, sorry. So just to confirm, you're thinking of a coffee with friends, but slightly longer and a little bit different for St David's Day on the Friday, and then after school time, inviting the schools to come along as well.
No, because
No.
we can't have it after the school. There's a rugby thing on there. But asking Cloyndero to come down and perform for the old people at that and sing a couple of songs and stuff like that. Maybe do some folk dancing if they can.
Okay, yeah, sorry. At the very beginning when I came on, were you talking about children, some event with children, or was this?
Yeah, originally Claire has penciled in the day before St David's Day for an after-school event where the kids come down and sing, and
Right.
they all get a hot dog. But I mean,
Right.
unless my thinking on that personally is just that you know, you've got to have teachers supervising the kids after school, and the teachers aren't going to want to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think doing something on St David's Day itself, if the Austrian Hall is available.
Well, Elaine has
warrants it
penciled in
more.
between 1:30 and 3:30 for us if we want it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anybody else want to say anything on that, and then I'll put it to the vote? No? Okay. I suppose, who's in favour of going on the Thursday, first of all? No? Okay. Who's okay for the Friday and doing a sort of lunch with coffee with friends, but as a lunch sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. We'll carry that over and see what we can do to make that a really nice, quite special day for St David's Day. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, could I just come in there and say that I would suggest that you put this as an agenda item on your meeting for next month, because as such, it hasn't got its own individual agenda item at the moment. It's just an action point, which is a form of an update for yourselves. So
Right.
if you put it as as an agenda item for next month, you can have a better discussion about it, have the date, costs, what you want to do, and all of that type of business, and then actually have a resolution attached to a full agenda
Okay.
item.
Okay, it does say here Welsh event update. Can
Yeah.
that be put? Or
And
should we
I
just?
think because on the agenda, what it actually says is update on previous actions. I think what I'm going to need to do is email around to the chairs, because the purpose of this update, the purpose of the action tracker is just so members look at the action tracker and they can see the progress that's been made on actions that they've agreed from previous meetings. It's not really meant to go into this in-depth discussion and start making resolutions on. So the way it should work is if there's an action that we then need to bring forward for you guys to make a decision on, that would come onto the agenda as a separate agenda item, and then you'd make a decision on that agenda item there.
Okay, are we still okay if we do that your way now to
Yeah.
confirm with Elaine that we'll have that
Yeah.
St. David's Day? Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, that's fine.
There we are, brilliant. Okay then, thanks very much for that. Okay, so the next thing is the co-opted members update. Liz is hoping to bob in at some point. Her auntie is in hospital and having quite a big operation tomorrow. So I did say to her, look, don't worry, if you've got to be at the hospital, you've got to be at the hospital, but she's hoping to bob in if she can. Okay, presentation by Paul Ralph. Now, any news on this? Did he ever reply and say he would come to the meeting, Ian?
Yes, no, I did forward this to Ian. Unfortunately, he has a long-standing commitment on Wednesday evening, so that means he can't attend our meetings on a Wednesday. He did suggest to me that he would put a briefing together and share that with me. I haven't received anything, but I have passed that over to Ian for Ian to chase. Ian has chased it and hasn't received anything from him either.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'll see Paul on Sunday in the choir he's in that I'm playing for at the moment. So I'll ask him, remind him about that then. Okay. So the next thing is budget 24/20. Oh, sorry, budget monitoring reports. Have you all had a look at the budget monitoring reports that were sent out? What Paul has included is a list of payments that are relevant to this committee, which someone, I think Mumblesfest is coming on the next one, but things like the floral decorations have been paid and stuff like that. So we've got an underspend of £1,000 on that. The festival lighting, because we haven't paid for that yet, because nothing's gone wrong with it, and hopefully won't. So there's that there, and obviously, if we are only doing one newsletter, so there's a little bit of underspend there, which I'll come back on something I was talking with Angela about yesterday, about veering some money for that. So, I mean, are we happy to accept the financial report from Paul? Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So, number 8, budget proposals. Does anybody have any budget proposals they would like to go in for next year? Because we need to be deciding pretty soon now. Yeah, Rich?
You're on mute.
Yeah, okay, Chase. I know something we had organised, I think it was the year before last, but it was scuppered when we had to reduce the budget. The cliff lighting.
Yeah.
So
there's a separate update on, or a separate agenda item on that. But
yeah.
I mean, what I can say it now, and maybe we can just cover that now. I've asked Claire to, get quotes for that for us, so that we can hopefully put a proposal in for that for next year. But we're waiting on the prices, because the last prices we had, everything will have gone up since pre-lockdown. So we need to get definite prices. And put your hand up as well.
Yeah, I was just I know that last year we spoke about, you know, freshening up and doing better Christmas lights decorations for Mumbles.
Mm.
And I thought they were put in, and just wondering with that extra £1,000, if extra lights, or extra decorations for Newton Road could be, you know, put forward with that money. I don't know how much they would actually cost.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you in a minute, Pip. I want to bring Kerry in because I know she's been looking at the decorations thing and tenders.
Thank you. Sorry, Pip, to jump in
No
front of
problem.
you.
No problem.
So what I was going to suggest to the committee is that you look at your budget for Christmas lighting anyway. So Angela, I'm quite happy to work with you on putting a proposal forward, because you've had the same contractor for quite a few years now, and you've had the same lights for quite a few years now. You can actually go out to contractors where you can have a 3-year contract with them, where you'll have the same lights for 3 years, and then at the end of those 3 years, you can refresh those lights and change the scheme. So we need to have a look at how much we need for the budget, because I think roughly when you add everything up, you've got about £18,000 in your budget for that. So we need to increase that quite a bit. But then what we can do is, if council agreed to that budget proposal, we would need to start working on the Christmas lights January, February time. There's something that you need to get in place pretty quick, and because of infrastructure and different things like that, we'd also possibly need to link in with Swansea as well, if there's different things that we're looking to do, and just for highways and the you know, the street lighting and things like that. So Angela, I'm quite happy if you're happy to work with me on it, to do a proposal with yourself that we can bring forward to the next meeting.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And are you saying, Kerry, that for this year we're probably a bit too late to explore that option?
Yeah, unfortunately this year we've had to confirm with the supplier, which will be coming to full council for retrospective approval in November, to get obviously everything up. I had an email about a week ago, I think, asking me if I could get, and I was like, oh my god, this hasn't been done. So so yeah, it was a little bit like, right, we've got to get something sorted. So we'll be bringing that for retrospective approval, but I think it would just be really nice to get something different in, and there's lots of different things you can do. And I'll sit down with you and go through a couple of suppliers that we can take a look at, and the different ideas. For example, one supplier does motifs that you can have off street lights, but you can actually design your own as well. So something that's a really nice idea is you could do a design competition between all the schools, and then each school could have their own designed motif up in Mumbles. So it's something, there's ideas that we can look at.
Brilliant, thanks. Pip?
Yeah, so just a small part. I haven't got involved with this conversation. I haven't really seen the budget in depth. So am I allowed to see that, or?
Yes.
Could somebody send me a copy of that? Perhaps Ian could send me a copy of that, or at some stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, while I'm on, am I allowed to vote or not? I'm not sure what I can do, what I can't do.
I believe not.
No.
No.
But I just want to stick my hand up, you know, like a lemon.
No, no. Is there any way, Kerry, that co-opted members are allowed to vote?
I think if they are co-opted councillors, they can. I'd need to look into actual co-opted members of the public, because it's not something I've come across before with co-opted members of the public on committees. So yeah, I would have to have a look into that, but I will come back to you on that.
I'm just checking, I don't want to sit here with my hand up.
No, that's I mean, from my own personal view, I think it's nice, and it makes people feel more worth while they're being here. And the fact that we've co-opted them is because we value their experience and their input as much as anything.
Yeah.
So if there is a way, then it might be something to look at. But anyway,
yeah, just looking at the tours now, and the co-opted members will not have voting rights. But what I can do is look into it a little bit further and see if it's something that we can give co-opted members voting rights. What I would say to you, Pip, is that you know, your input here is valuable. You can put your ideas across, give your give your take on things. The only thing you can't do is help influence the decisions, like by voting, unfortunately. So please don't feel that it's pointless you sitting there, because it's not. Your input really is very needed and welcomed.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim.
Yes, so we all, have been invited to this launch event for Friends of Story of Mumbles.
Yes.
Yes. So I remember there were some ideas floating around between different members on this committee that whether we can make the access more public or available to the public by using QR codes available on different corners of Mumbles in different corners of Mumble, then people can scan and have access to the story we want to present. Just something I remember we discussed before. Thank you.
I think exactly the same as you, Tim. I think it's a invaluable thing to have. We've got a castle here, we've got a lifeboat here, we've got the history of All Saints. There's lots of places in Mumbles that people would be interested in. I mean, the cemetery is a fascinating place. The famous people who are buried up there as well. And we have done some videos on some of these, which are on our YouTube channel, and we're on our Facebook page, and in fact our web page as well. Coming to that, I just want to mention something I'm going to put into the budget. When we had our last meeting, we had David Townsend-Jones join us as well from the Twinning Association. And one of the things I said to him was, would it be helpful if we had some sort of recording equipment where we could stream events, whatever they are, or record them, and then they could be uploaded for people to watch. Not just for Twinning, but I mean for everybody. I mean, it's all documenting Mumbles and getting us out more on the World Wide Web. So I've approached a couple of people for quotes on equipment for us to do that. And when I say equipment, I mean idiot-proof equipment that any councillor can just pick up and be able to, document it without worrying about, software and stuff like that. And one of them has come back to me and said, the best thing you could probably do is get a couple of, good iPhones, like iPhone 13 Pros onwards or something like that. Because with that, you can, you've got the fantastic camera. I mean, Kevin Allen recorded his, or filmed his whole film, La Cha Cha, on iPhone 13, and, edited it. The good thing about that is with, what's it called, AirDrop, when you've recorded your thing, you can AirDrop it to your own device so that you're not taking up the memory of that. And I think everybody can operate an iPhone or something like that. So that's something I'll be bringing to the next meeting once I've got more quotes on all that and looked at not just the cheapest office, but cheapest option, but the most user-friendly option as well. Kerry?
Just so we're clear, Chair, for the purpose of the minutes, so for the budget proposals, we're going to have Christmas lighting coming from Angela, QR codes coming from Tim, and some sort of streaming equipment coming from yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Have you got that, Ian?
I have, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
I mean, there'll be other things coming through, I'm sure, because we'll also be putting Mumbles Fest on there, and the cliff lighting, and other things that we'd like to do through the year. One thing I'm keen to do again is re-resurrect the Boule tournament, and if we could do that for maybe the first weekend in September, and then maybe the Twinning visit can come at the same time as that, so they can put in the team as well. So it's all different things. We can have a council team. We can, we could all be on different teams outside the council, whatever. But it's a really, really fun day. There were a group of lads who came last time we did it from the other side of Swansea, and they all dressed up as female tennis players, and it was hysterical. I mean, not saying anything out of order, but one was called Dirty Chrissy Everett and things like that. They were just hysterical, and they think they won as well. or came second, but I mean, you know, it could be a really good village feel-good event. Rich?
Yeah, I can. I think it was COVID probably knocked it on the head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can remember it happening. It was good. Good event. Lots of people took part in it. Trouble is, if you have it doing the twinning event, coming from Brittany, they'll win it.
They probably would. Coming from Half to Grace, maybe not.
True.
But you know, I mean, look, it doesn't. What we're doing it by doing it at that time of year is it's roughly when the twinning happens.
Yeah.
You've still got holidaymakers around. It you know, it could grow into quite a nice little sort of promotional thing for Mumbles.
Get those areas that we've got for it being used.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you've got the pictures there. And I
Yeah.
think we could make more of the bowls club as well. Maybe a tournament there just to try and revigorate a younger element joining it. Hey, Pip, you
Yeah.
what you say?
Yeah, sorry again. I'm just thinking with the twinning, I think we discussed it last time, Rob. It might be a good idea to get it in the newsletter, not a big piece about twinning, but actually, are you interested in twinning? Do you want to know what it's about? Because there's quite a negative feeling about twinning, isn't it? It's like a freebie for people to go and, you know, travel around the world and so on. I think it might be a good idea if we get like a caption saying twinning. If you're interested, click on this, click through to the website, and then we could prepare a page on that website explaining what twinning is all about and the benefits and what really happens.
Yeah.
I think if you talk to most people, they're quite negative about it.
I think they are, and it was, you know, it was good when David came and sort of explained, you know,
That's
the
what I was
benefits
thinking,
of it as well. But that's if you're interested in it anyway. But
Yeah.
I think, you know, yeah, rather than take up a whole page in
Just
a
a little-
newsletter, you have the link, and you people who want to get onto it that way.
Well,
I think
every
good idea.
resident should see that, shouldn't they? Or everybody reads the newsletter, which is probably most houses.
Yeah.
It's an easy way of doing it, that's all.
It is
Yeah.
free publicity. Terry.
Just to come back to Pip on that, what actually happened, Pip, at the event that they'd done in September, which Martin, Will and Diane attended because I was unfortunately unable to attend, resulted in Diane actually joining Twinning. So she actually went and played bowls with them the other day. So they've gained a new member there, and she will actively, I know she'll actively promote that amongst her friends now as well. So that was good to see.
Yeah, brilliant.
Great. Okay, so there's, you know, a couple of suggestions for budget for next year and stuff like that. Okay, so we've talked about Paul Ralph. We've talked about the Welsh event. The Cliff Lighting is just waiting for Claire to go back with quotes for us on that. So that'll be taken over to next month, Ian. So the next thing is a Christmas cheese and wine evening. This came as a suggestion from Claire, and doing something in the off stream before Christmas with Cheers and Carwyn at Olives and Oils. So it would be a paid event where people would, because obviously, you know, if they're not going to give away their wine and cheese for nothing, but we could possibly charge a nominal amount per ticket, and it's a good way for people to sample stuff before Christmas, and they can make sure they've got the stock of it then. What do people think?
Yeah.
I've been talking to a couple with Cheers, and Dav's really good at the presentation and so on. You know, it's a good evening actually.
Ange?
There's what's not to love about cheese and wine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love both very much.
And me. So should we explore that? I mean, obviously we've got to see if Dav and Carwyn are going to do it, but yeah, brilliant. So I think something like that would probably be covered with ticket prices. I mean, we could probably veer a little bit of money just for publicity and you know, testing the water before we actually go ahead with it. But yeah, I think there won't be a problem there. Okay, brilliant.
Right, check. Who's actioned for that? Would you mind telling me? Claire. Okay, thank you.
Sorry,
Just on that note, though, would we have another would we have a company come in and do it? How does it work?
Dav from
specialising in that.
Cheers. So the Cheers would do the wine, and Olives and Oils do the cheese. So we're supporting local business as well. So,
Mhm.
tick
What
box.
he does, he
tick
does a bit
box.
of a quiz.
Hey,
Does a wine tasting. He does a wine tasting and a bit of a quiz. And the
Oh,
more
nice.
you drink, the more you drink, the worse you get.
yay! Like most things.
And in the end, you think the cheese is the wine and the wine is the cheese. You don't care anymore. So it's actually quite a good night, really. You get forms to fill in teams, you know, and you just guess what the wines are.
I realised I've sort of, when we were talking about some of these agenda items, we've covered with the sort of budget proposals. Mumbles Fest 2024. I spoke to Paul earlier, and what I've suggested to him is myself, Angela, Martin, and him get together at some point in November to go through setting a budget for that. So as long as you're happy with that, I mean, we can just leave that as then a report ready for the next meeting of this committee.
Okay.
Ange?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, you've got a legacy hand up.
Sorry, yeah, I'll get rid
That's
of
all right. You probably didn't want to say all those things. It's just thought I wanted your input, which I do. Okay, so next thing is the Christmas market stalls outside the Ostream on Saturdays. Now, first of all, I'm going to come to Kerry about this and say legally, are we able to do that?
You would need TENS license. They'd need street traders license if they're going to be selling things in stores out there. Even though it's in our space, you still need to have the trading license. Trading licenses to do that. So yeah, I think they're generally about £25. I think.
Yeah.
Claire'd be able to advise more on that.
Do we need that, or do the traders need that?
The traders will need it.
Right.
But normally what happens is you charge the trader for coming in and you incorporate that license fee into the cost of the stall. I would advise you though to be cautious here that you don't tread on any toes with Mumbles Traders and what they do with Paul Whitaker and their work going forward, because you don't want to be seen to be encroaching on what Paul Whitaker does at Christmas time.
Well, Paul's thing at Christmas time is basically the switch on, isn't it? With that, what I think the idea behind this is on Saturdays leading up to Christmas. So maybe one week we'd have fine art. Next one you might have local produce or crafts and stuff like that. So it's just getting a couple of making Mumbles seem busier and trying to draw people here to shop. Like they do the Christmas market in town. This wouldn't be anything to compete with Paul's, because Paul's is, you know, a specific sort of date on a Thursday night as a one-off for the lights. Ange?
Yeah, similar to what Carrie said, I'm not against it, and I like the idea if it will draw more people into Mumbles for sure. Just if we could be selective in the process, because I don't want any of the businesses in Mumbles, you know, there being an overlap with the products that they tried to sell, and then this obviously being the busiest time of year for some of the businesses in Mumbles, and then them being upset or annoyed because some of their business is being taken. So I think, yeah, we just have to be very careful in who and what they're going to be selling.
Okay, yeah. As an example to the sort of thing, Owen Banning got in touch with me, who owns the Gower Gallery down by Joe's. And because of the lack of car parking now on the prom, they've lost a lot of business since, you know, that car parking is gone. So she was looking at ideas we could do so to help with those businesses, because they don't know how they're going to survive otherwise, really, because the new car parking, which has gone further down Southend, because there's no time restriction on, tends to be used by residents who didn't have parking themselves before. So I don't know the best way to go on with this, really. I mean, it would be an action point for Claire to explore, and I suppose get in touch with the businesses, but we're going to have to take a vote on it in some form or other to see. Oh, maybe we just do it the second and third weekends of December, because the weekend, the third weekend is Christmas Eve, day before Christmas Eve. That might be quite nice. I mean,
Yeah.
if we maybe look at some throughout December and see if it's a possibility, and get Claire to report back. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, she'd have to report back for them, or do we take a vote now? What do you suggest, Kerry?
I would suggest that you get Claire to look into this server, because I do know that there are some Christmas events going to be taking place in West Cross Community Centre throughout December. Different activities, i.e. wreath making, wall painting, Christmas film and things like that. So what you want to make sure is that you're not competing with different things that are being put on by the council in different areas. So I think it does need further investigation. So I think you could put it as take a vote to put it as an action point for Claire to do further investigation. Have a schedule, because what you could do is you could do a schedule of events, so you're not, so if you had something going on in West Cross, you wouldn't put something going on in the middle of Mumbles, and you kind of get a bit of a rota going or something like that, and see if you can do it that way.
But yeah, Ange?
And we do have the market, don't we, down the front as well?
We will have one local produce market on the second Saturday in December.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering whether it's a bit too late in the day for this Christmas, whether it's something that we'd have to look at for next Christmas, because it is the end of October already, and a lot of the market stalls probably got a place.
It is. I mean, I'm happy to go with Kerry's suggestion of putting this to a vote for Claire to explore. And if there is call for it in December, we've got another meeting before then to approve it, haven't we?
Chair, it could be that Claire explores it, and as Angela has just pointed out, that you may not be able to get anybody because they've already booked in what events they're doing, or there might not be stalls left to hire. Like, I know the stalls that you have in Cardiff, they get booked 2 years in advance, the actual wooden huts and things like that. So it's just, if it's something that you want to do, like Angela suggested, potentially do it next year, and it gives you more time to work on it, so it's not so rushed.
Okay, let's just put it to the vote then for Claire to explore it. Then, all those in favour?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Next thing is Christmas lunch in Newton Hall in early December. Myself and Ange have been working on this. Now, we'd like to make it quite special. At the moment, all the wards have got £500 to put on a Christmas event. And some are choosing to do it after Christmas, which is fine. Rather than just have a buffet, what we'd like is a nice buffet, which is going to cost a bit more than the 500 quid, because we'll be very limited to how many people we can have at it. If it's well, it's 400 quid really, because then on top of the food, we've got to do a donation to the hall. We've also got to buy teas and coffees and booze, you know, and by booze, I mean a glass of mulled wine and a glass of sherry sort of thing, not, you know, supplying them to get caned or anything like that, but, you know, just so they can enjoy it and have a little drink, or even a glass of Prosecco on the way in, whatever, something like that. So what I spoke to about with Paul earlier is, because the floral decorations, there is an underspend on the floral decorations, that if we use £250 per ward from that to make the £1,000 to go towards parties in the wards. Now, they don't have to be done at Christmas, they can be done any time, but it would we've got the money there as the underspend. We've also got money underspent on the fun day we did in Newton Park in the summer, because we used the grants as much as possible to fund that. rather than the allocated money from the council. The only thing with that is that money sits in community budget, not our budget. Ange?
Yeah, no, because Paul hasn't got back to me since I called him yesterday. So I'm just wondering if you spoke to him today and if he
Yes,
said
that's
any, like, oh right, okay.
That's what I'm saying. He said we could
That's
use.
annoying if it sits in community because we can't have access to it again, then can we?
Well, I'm sure we can have access to it because it's Newton money rather than community money.
Yeah.
But it's whether or not community are going to be happy to release it for an older sort of age group event rather than a kids event. What do you think, Kerry? I mean,
I mean, we don't. Sorry, what I was trying to say is I knew that money was still there for an event in Newton, and
yeah,
it doesn't, even if we've got this £250 as an extra from this extra allocation that you just spoke about, that's fine. But I don't want us to forget about that money there, because we could, in theory, I mean, I'm not against doing a kids event with that money in Newton either, you know. It doesn't,
yeah.
But I just wanted to remind, yeah, just to know basically clarification of how much money was left over.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Paul told you that, did he?
He didn't tell me that at the time today because he didn't have it in front of him. Okay. But he did say that there is money there. But he said, you know, you could email the chair of community and suggest that. I mean, Kerry, you're the legal expert about how money can be sort of put around and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not community money, it's Newton money.
Okay, so as Paul has said, you'd need to email the chair of the committee and obviously ask their permission if they were happy for that to be fired into your own budget. Once you've got that agreement from them, it would then have to go to full council to sign off, because only full council can sign off firements between individual budgets. The committees can make the recommendations, but only full council have the say on budgets. So that's what you'd need to do.
So
okay, based on that, shall we wait, Rob? Because if we have this extra £250, I don't think we'll need it for this event. We wait, but we email if we can have it for a future event.
Yes, I just want to check something with Kerry. When you say about firing, we need the permission of full council. Does that also mean if we use money on underspend and we vire to a different project, we need the approval of full council?
Yeah, so for example, what we've just done an environmental committee Monday night, is they've just looked at what they think their underspends are going to be, and then they've made recommendations for what they want to carry forward and via. So a report will now go to full council for full council to sign off on those carry forwards and those virements, because the budget ultimately is agreed by full council. So full council have to make the amendments and changes to the budget.
Right. Okay. So we'd be looking at the first Tuesday in second Tuesday in December for that, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Which is going to be too late for us because we've got it on the 14th, and we to be able to order the food, you see. Can it be done in retrospect?
It needs to be done before you incur that expenditure. So what I will do is I'll check in with Paul tomorrow, and it may be that we can put a item on November's agenda, for environment to be made in November.
There we are. That'd be great.
What I would suggest is you email Pam and Sarah, because I do know that Sarah covered the last meeting, so Pam may be out of action. I don't quite know when she's going to be back yet.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, I'll copy you into that as well, and Paul.
Yeah.
Kerry,
okay.
and
Yeah,
Ange
okay.
as vice chair. Well, I'll copy Martin and Kerry in. Put it that way. I'll do that way so that there'll be other names associated with it, and Ange as vice chair. Then there we are. Okay. Okay, live entertainment and refreshment at the Coffee with Friends group for Christmas. So basically, a little bit of money so we can get somebody along to provide some entertainment. Kerry?
Sorry, Chair, I keep on interrupting you all the time.
That's all right.
So just to make you aware, I popped into Coffee and Friends the other week and was speaking with Sue and said about how there was a couple of ideas of things I wanted to do with Coffee and Friends, i.e. First aid training, defib training, because we've got a defib on the outside of the hall. And she said that they're they quite like just coming in the social aspect of meeting each other and talking, because some of them only get out once a week and that's the only time they get out. They don't want something on every week because they quite enjoy the social aspect they have got there. I've already arranged for Oystermouth School to come and perform for them in I think it's I keep on saying the 15th, but I think it's the 12th of December in Coffee and Friends there, because I've been working with Oystermouth School on something else. So they're going to be singing in English and in Welsh as well. So I would possibly suggest that you do something, maybe just 2 different things. You know, so it's like every other week up until the Christmas break that you do something with them. There's no charge from Oystermouth School either, so that's a bonus. So yeah, I've already made Claire aware of that, but obviously any other ideas of what you think may be possible, or what I would suggest is that whoever the next councillor is to attend next week maybe speaks to them and see what ideas they've got for what they would like to see.
Okay. Yeah, I from what Claire said to me, I was led to believe that this was for the last one before the Christmas break.
Right, okay.
So it was to make it a little bit nicer, more festive, more Christmassy, by maybe getting some mince pies there, maybe a couple of sandwiches. I think we did that last year as well, having a bit more sort of a bit posher than normal, a bit more than coffee and cake. It'd be maybe a sandwich and cake and a mince pie and a bit of a sing-along, carols or something. Martin?
I think Angela was before me, unless she's the legacy aunt.
Sorry, Ange.
Thank you, that's okay. Thank you for arranging that, Kerry. That's nice, the children going there to sing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much money is allocated for the entertainment. The only thing I would say is Claire herself actually did say to us the other day, Rob, that they like to be included, the older people in it. So rather than them having, you know, entertainment at them. And I don't know, there's not loads of people that go to the coffee and cake. So I wouldn't want us to throw so much money at it, because there's not a lot of people that are there. It's nice for them to have something, and yeah, maybe you know, throw some money at one Christmas event before Christmas, and then, you know, 2 weeks before that, you've got the children there, perhaps singing. I do think it's nice to have something there, yes, but I don't think it warrants having a lot of money spent on the entertainment either. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I was thinking of more having Dave Cottle there to play some Christmas stuff, and they all sing along, you know, give them some carol sheets and that sort of thing, so they're included in it. And you know, they got some background music for while they're having their coffee and stuff like that. That's
yeah, and I'm also happy to chat with them next week.
There we are, brilliant. Okay, Matt.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I'm echoing quite a bit of what Angela said, to be honest. I'm hoping to go next week, all things if I'm available. Saying that, you know, obviously Coffee and Friends have been going for quite some time now, and I'm echoing again what I think Kelly said as well, is I think we've got to be very careful with the Coffee with Friends group. They don't like things being done at them, shall we sort of say. We've had some stuff before with Mick Love, for instance, playing the saxophone, as we know, Mick is great and all that sort of stuff, but they just felt it got in the way of them talking, because the main thing they come there to do is to talk. Again, a lot of them are not getting out of the house. It's a mixed demographic, as you well know, Rob. You go there regularly yourself. They are not all elderly, and even the ones who are, well, you know, there's a mix even in the ones who are elderly, to be honest. You know, last time I was there, one of the guys who found out who found out that I had a PhD, wanted to talk about philosophy to me, and we had a very in-depth conversation about philosophy, to be honest. He kept me really on my toes, because it's been quite some time myself since I've talked about, how can I say, higher level philosophical stuff. But so all I'm sort of saying, they are a mixed group. I'm going to go there myself next week, and I would like to have a sort of word with them about the sort of stuff that they would do. But also, I think, echoing what Angela said as well, they are an established group, the Coffee with Friends group. And I think maybe we need to be thinking about other things that we could be doing as well. Because in a lot of ways, I think they're a self-sustaining group, that group. And they're quite self-contained, and they're quite capable of putting things together for themselves rather than us doing things at them, as Angela said. That's what I'm sort of saying. So maybe let me go there next week, have a chat with them, and just sort of see the sort of stuff that they, the sort of stuff that they want to do, really, rather than maybe, as I sort of said, do stuff at them. And also, I don't know, well, Kerry's Gerald mentioned this. One of the things that they've asked for now is they've asked for a load of mugs. Have you heard that one?
No, but we can sort that. No
Yeah,
problem.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We can sort that out. But that's
Trip to IKEA.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think with the Coffee with Friends group, more than anything, I think it's better that we are reactive to what they want rather than we do stuff to them, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's all I
Pip,
want to say.
you're
You want me
mute.
You're
to
nice and
Okay.
quiet. Pip.
Yeah, it's something I think Angela said, that the Coffee Friends is the attendance is maybe not quite where it was or where it could be. They're an incredibly hard group to market to because they don't do social media, they don't get out a lot, so they don't see it, they're not on the internet. You have got the newsletter for that, and again, if you put a flyer in the newsletter, like an A5 flyer in the newsletter inviting people to Coffee with Friends, you will get to all the older people. Is that right? I'm not sure. Do you know what I mean? It's because they're very hard to get at because they're not on the things that everybody else is on. So that's our one opportunity to get to them. I'm just thinking, if you want to bolster numbers, and maybe there's a hell of a lot of older people out there who don't know about it.
I think that's a brilliant idea, Pip, and maybe we could have that as an advert in our next newsletter.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
you've
we've got
got
the
this newsletter, which costs whatever it costs to get out, but we could put things inside that.
Yeah,
even if they're separate,
or even just have it as part of the newsletter,
whatever,
the back page, because the winter is coming, and I think there's going to be more people who would appreciate coming to that if they know about it through the winter months. Ange?
Yeah, I mean, the group that is already there, as Martin said as well, it is, they seem quite a close group, and they've formed some nice friendships, and it's really nice that they're coming out, but it would be good to get more people. I wonder, the notice board outside, has that got a Coffee with Friends advert on it?
Yeah,
because otherwise we're missing an opportunity there, aren't we?
Yeah, they put
That's
the
on the
boards
page.
out. Yeah, they put the boards out every week, but I don't think it does on the main notice board where we put the agendas and things like that. So
Oh yeah, because maybe we could put a poster up there. That might be quite easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we have more flyers printed, I'm happy to go around doctor surgeries and dentists and things like that, and churches, like putting 20 at a time there and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so, I mean, rather than the pubs, if it was a younger demographic we're looking forward to, I mean, I'd be going to the pubs before the dentists and the doctors and stuff like that. But
you'd be going to the pubs anyway.
Hey,
you'd be going to the pubs anyway.
Well, I know. Which I don't know what category we fall under though. 52 and 62.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that, let's say that, I mean, I'm intended to go on Tuesday as well. So if the three of us are there, we can easily get round everybody and say, you know,
Yeah.
anything you'd like for the last one before Christmas, anything, you know,
Yeah.
and ask them their advice. Oh, Angela, you've frozen. You
Oh.
still there? She's voting yes on whatever it is anyway, because her hand's up.
Yeah, she's looking very pensive, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So then, look, I mean, if we need 100 quid, it's not going to be a problem, is it, for that
No.
last one before Christmas to find 100 quid
No.
somewhere?
No.
I mean, it could even come out of the community underspend. Anyway, future events. Has anybody got any future events they'd like to throw into the ring in the next 10 minutes? Because I'm going for a curry. Ian.
Hello, Rob. Sorry, it's not a future event, but can I just clarify something? You know the earlier number 16 Christmas lunch at Newton Hall.
Yes.
Are there any? There was no vote on that. Is that just going to be actions for the inquiries to be made? Is that right?
The queries to be made, and
Yeah.
then it comes to the November council.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks.
So that we know. And the date of the November council is when?
It is the. Bear with me one sec. It's the 22nd of November.
But the 8th will be full council.
Yes.
Sorry, the 7th.
So yeah. Yeah.
7th is full council. There we are. Okay, so that will give us time then. Right, I mean, look, the only future event I've mentioned really is a Boule tournament. So that's all I've got to say really at the moment on that. We've all agreed it's a good idea and we can try and re-resurrect it. Apart from that, anybody got anything to say, or
No.
is it a good night? Angela's back. Yay, you've unfrozen.
Sorry, I got 1% and it keeps kicking me out, probably because I'm using the video and it hasn't got enough power. It is on charge.
Right. We'll just vote
no,
for
just
this.
quickly. I think last year I wish we'd done it. This year I think I wish we'd done it. Some kind of like carol concert, Christmas concert,
Yeah.
maybe put on by Mumbles Community Council. We do Mumbles Fest. It's a big event. It doesn't have to be as big, but an event for the community for Christmas would be lovely. I think a choir. You know, there might be some good local talent. It's an opportunity. It could be in the church. I just feel like it would just be lovely to put, even if it was 2 or 3 nights. I know there's not the opportunity for, you know, a pantomime or anything like that, but it would be it would scope to do something. Yeah, and I think it possibly is too short notice to plan something for this Christmas, but maybe next Christmas. And I would be sort of happy to get involved in that. I think it would be a really nice thing that we could do. And even if I don't know if we could sell tickets and whether the ticket money went to charity or, you know, whether it had to be free and we'd have to fund it. I don't know, maybe.
I think it's a lovely idea. And, you know, if you've got, say, a string quartet or a brass group playing the carols with the organ and the congregation, it just like a mini orchestra, it makes it just a really nice event like that, because, you know, it's like a Christmas spectacular in that way. And rather than just being a church service, it's also something which is musical you're bringing to people. I mean, All Saints do different ones. They do one for the bereaved. They do the RNLI one. Maybe we could do it as a joint thing with the RNLI.
Yeah, I mean, it would even be lovely to put it on outside in the park, you know, with some mulled wine and a little fire. But you can't guarantee the weather, can you? So.
No.
But you can do mulled wine in the church. They got a booze license.
Yeah.
So
just a thought.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely idea, Mart.
Yeah, I was just going to come in on that. I think it's a lovely idea. And I do think that probably the church would be a good place to do it, because they have got some outside space there as well. And, you know, it could be an opportunity, like you're sort of saying, Rob, you know, the RNLI, like Richard is saying, they've got a choir, lots of churches, you know, Catholic Church just across the road, they've got a choir. You could just bring all the choirs in together.
That's
you
a
know,
really good idea.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just bringing all
Well-
the choirs from all the different churches and the schools, because obviously you don't want to make it just a religious thing.
No, no, no.
But you know, obviously you've got, as I said, you've got the Catholic Church just opposite, Lady Star of the Sea. You've got the choir in All Saints, and you know, I know there's choirs in lots of the other churches around, and of course you've got the choirs in all the schools as well.
Mm.
And I
And
think
the good thing,
you know, make it a sort of songs of praise for Christmas or something
Yeah.
like that.
like the 9 lessons and carols.
Yes,
Which
yes,
and you get the school kids to do the readings.
yes. That'd
and
be
things
great.
like that.
Yeah.
And the good thing, you've just hit this on the head actually, because we are now not the parish of Newton, the parish of Cloyndow, the parish of Oystermouth. We are the ministry area, which
Yeah.
includes the 4 wards which make up Mumbles Community Council. So it could be done as a ministry thing where all the churches join together for one big choir, and we do it that way. That would
Yeah.
pack it out.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I think that could
Do
be
you
good.
think it's too? Can I explore this? Because
Yes,
I've
definitely
got connections
explore
with
it.
church, and if there's a chance we could do something like that this year, it would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
do
you
it
know,
you
would
want
be
to come in
lovely.
that with me?
Yeah.
You want to come on that with me, Ange, and we'll do it together?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No, yeah, I think it would be lovely. And even if, you know, if we had tickets, you know, that went out and if they flew out, if we could do 2 nights then next year, if we wasn't for 2 nights this year. But I like the idea of some money being given to the charities as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really like it.
My only thing I would say with the RNLI as a charity, and Richard will back me up on that, is that whatever we raise and give to the RNLI here doesn't stay here. It goes to the national RNLI pot.
Yeah.
Does it?
So we'd have
Yeah.
to choose a charity, maybe Maggie's or something like that, you know, because you know, Maggie's is a local charity, which the money stays within Maggie's. You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
go to Belinda in Cardiff.
Hmm.
There's lots of things, or even Margaret Thrush's bucket. You know,
Yeah. There's plenty of local
There's
charities.
plenty.
Oh
local
yeah,
charities.
loads. Wales Air Ambulance.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Coast Guard, yeah.
Or split it between them all, and then
Yeah.
if it's lots of charities involved, then you're going to have the followers from those charities wanting to come to it, and of course everybody's going to be prepared to pay to go to it.
Yeah.
And if we charge a £5 and kids go free, I mean, nobody's going to whinge at that.
Well, no, and you know, you think of all the different congregations, all the different churches around you.
Mm.
You know, there's quite a lot there, like, you know.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, that's a great thing. I'll speak to Ange about that soon.
Good.
And everybody else knows what they're doing. And it's now 20 minutes before I've got to be in Mumtaz. So let's call the meeting